Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to react on the groups. We know the draws now. I had some initial reactions, but now we got to see some of the playing teams play. And I'm going to take a look now. Honestly, Group 1, Group A, not Group 1, G2, Griffin, Cloud9, Hong Kong Attitude. I think Cloud9, the question is, like, do they have any chances of getting out? And honestly, it's not in their hands at all. I don't think C9's level is, anywhere close to beat what the G2 and Griffin could be. And I think this is a massive flaw of theirs. They're not a contender. Griffin and G2 potentially could be. Griffin and G2, the beauty of this group for C9 is that G2 and Griffin, we don't know what level we're going to get them at, we have G2, the promised son of Europe, that has very high expectations on them, and deservedly so, because individually they have a very, very high skill cap. As a team, they play a very, very clear cut. They make these plays that are very easy to review. Not necessarily easy to review, but it's easy to say in hindsight, but they're always so on point with the things they do, whether it's starting fights or if it's making specific rotations or taking over a certain space to gain vision. They understand the limits of their champions at a level that is unheard of, and I think this is why G2 is so scary. But at the same time, we know the problems with inconsistencies, yada yada yada. We don't know if they're going to continue to end like they did in the finals, where they just gave away a couple of kills. But the thing is, they're playing against a very strong Fnatic, and even though you can say that G2 is inconsistent, I don't think Cloud9 bring enough variance to cause any trouble. We saw, for example, the team that played against Damwon, I can't remember the name anymore, they brought up the lane swap. I don't think Cloud9 is the team that is creative enough to bring anything forward to break G2 apart. And even though G2 wasn't peak G2 against Fnatic, they managed to play mid-game and late game very, very good. And I think it goes to Fnatic's credit more so than G2's disservice in terms of how we speak about G2. So I think even G2 on a bad day is going to beat Cloud9. Griffin, super big question mark. They lost their coach. I have, you can't really predict or know how much a coach does, right? It's very hard to judge that. But the stories I heard from Korean players or from interviews with players from Griffin and interviews that CV Max had himself, it seems like he was a very, very important part for this team's success and how they became what they are or what they were. Coming into this tournament, they lost their coach, and Griffin was, they were looking worse and worse coming into summer. This is also something that you've heard many, many times, because it's true. They were very good at beating down teams that are worse than them. Even in the times where they were worse, they never were so bad like Damwon and SKT were in Summer Split, where they lost against the worst teams. Because Griffin's win ratios against the best of the best was 1-1, like meaning they lost against Damwon and SKT in the second half, but they did in fact beat every worst team. So because of this, even though people want to hype out the chances of Cloud9, I think the variance of Griffin and G2, even at their lowest, is going to beat a Cloud9. So I think Cloud9 has absolutely no chance. Of course, there is some chance, but very little chance, and way less chance than people like to give them. So this is where I'm going to start. Griffin, you can take a look at their match history. Honestly, I don't want to freak around with the graph too much. It's 4 a.m. in the morning and I'm just recording this because I can't sleep. So I don't want to flick around with the graph too much. But you can look it up. Griffin winning against all the noob teams in LCK. They stomped them over and over, even in their worst form. So I think this is very important. Cloud9 and G2 have an advantage that they play best of one in their region. We don't know how Griffin's going to deal with that. But I think G2 first, Griffin second is very fair, and sure, Griffin could be complete garbage. Maybe they choke. That's a world where Cloud9 can get through. Where Griffin is just so shit, it's like They play as if they play against Genji for the regional qualifier to qualify to Worlds. If they play at that level, maybe Cloud9 can win. Cloud9 have Reapert. I respect Reapert. He's a cool one. Let's continue to Group B. Group B. So everyone's saying FunPlus Phoenix and Splice. Honestly, I don't believe it. I don't think Splice is going to go through. Based on the fact, I don't know too much about J-Team or Gigabyte Marines. I know that Zeros is really, really good. I know that Levi is really, really good. And I think they can throw out a lot of curveballs. That is the history of Gigabyte Marines. I'm not so sold on Splice beating these two teams simply because I think Splice is coming into this group limping. They had to fucking show everything, and their best of 5 against Unicorns of Love was quite the disaster. And I imagine that Gigabyte Marines and J-Team are going to be better than Unicorns of Love. I think Splice, there is a world where they get 4th in this group because they have so many flaws in their draft. There's so many champions that they don't want to play. Their top laner has a very small champion pool. There is supports that they cannot play. They have their mid laner running it down many games, the support running it down, their top laner running it down. They are hanging on by Kobe and Xerxes. I think Kobe is way more consistent and better than Xerxes, but I feel like this is as far as it goes to the groups. It's just the performance has been so inconsistent on these 3 players, top, mid, and jungle, and the draft has so many flaws. I feel like Splice was always a ship that was held together by band-aids, and now they had to reveal everything. And I think if J-Team, Gigabyte Marines were watching any of these games, they recognize the flaw in their draft. I imagine a Zeros and a Levi, as long as they don't like completely enter on bot so Kobe gets fed, something like this, I can imagine a world where Splice doesn't get through. But I have to admit that I don't know the level of Gigabyte Marines and J-Team, but no one else seems to know either. No one else seems to know. I try to read about opinions and people say, oh, Splice is gonna go through, easy group of life. Sure, it is a group of life, but Splice, they don't have a lot of life in them, honestly, coming into this group. And I see them, I think it's more likely that they don't get out than getting out. FunPlus Phoenix, obvious first place. FunPlus Phoenix should be very happy that they don't get tested in this group at all, because I think FunPlus Phoenix has always been a team that, this group is the group is fantastic for them because they need to get used to this stage. None of these guys have international experience beyond Rift Rivals. So this is a perfect group for FunPlus Phoenix, and this could be kind of the route for them to get into a quarterfinals matchup that is beneficial for them and get as much experience before they reach the semis and face the opponents that can definitely beat them out. So I think this is a wonderful group for FunPlus Phoenix, and this is a gift from whoever created this format. Whoever created this format for a tournament. It's a gift from God. So FunPlus Phoenix should be very, very happy with this. FunPlus Phoenix, their history in finals, in summer playoffs or spring playoffs has always been, in regular split they've been amazing, and then they've been figured out. You throw the right bands at Doinby, and all of a sudden, they shut him down. He looks a lot weaker than he does in different games because he can't figure out what to play, and all of a sudden, FunPlus Phoenix just falls apart. Doinby is not an amazing laner. They piece. It's like a beautiful puzzle, It's like a beautiful puzzle, FunPlus Phoenix, where when it works, it looks beautiful, but when you remove that initial piece, maybe you target Doinby in the right way, all of a sudden everything kind of falls apart. And I think there is an advantage here that FunPlus Phoenix has that hasn't been the case in the past, is that Doinby is surrounded by very good players. I think in the past he had worse players around him, and I think Crisp, LWX, Tian, Gingun are amazing. They're actually really, really good individually, and I think Doinby probably individually on a mechanical level is the worst player in this team, but he just has such a such a positive impact when he gets rolling in terms of how he plays together with Tian and Crisp. So I think FPX is definitely a team to watch. But by the time they will get figured out, they will run into like a brick wall and they will look bad, because that's been the trend with OnePlus Phoenix in the past. But I think my prediction here, Splice doesn't get through, honestly, because I think they're coming into this group, they look very weak, very, very weak. If they get through, it's probably because Xerxes ganked Kobe, and Kobe is super fed, and his teammates didn't run it down. So we'll have to pay attention to that. But Gigabyte Marines could be amazing. Zeros and Levi, I think, are fantastic players. Very, very good players that could potentially play in a different region. So I'm hyped for this. And J-Team, no idea. Fofo, I heard some great things about Fofo. This could be teams that beat Splice. You heard it here first. SK Telecom, the Group C. This is a very tough group. The problem of the seed, obviously, it's like it's a bit of a meme that this is the group. SK Telecom, I think, is the clear first. Because I put them clear first because I consider them being better than the other teams. But the advantage that Fnatic has is that they have so much experience in best of ones. And Fnatic is a team that can actually throw curveballs at you. They can make you think in a way where you can't approach Fnatic the same way as other teams, because they can do level 1 shenanigans, they can do level 2 ganks, they can do specific roams. Hylissang is creative. There's a lot of curveballs that Fnatic can throw at you, and I think in best of ones that's beautiful. And I know that Fnatic in the first game will start off with a bang. Every game that these teams are going to play against each other is going to be quite close. It depends on how Fnatic deal with playing against these players, but I think Fnatic and SKT are going to make it out. I think RNG is going to be third. Very, very sad. But honestly, this is a very tough group to predict. I think this group is very tough to predict because there is a world where you drop a best of one that is very close and you don't get through. One game could be the difference. Clutch Gaming will go 0-6. There's no chance in hell against any of these teams. It's just good luck. Go next. Go fast. But I think SKT is the team that is 100% certain to go through. If they don't, then I don't mind being wrong, because that would be fucking hilarious. So we will see. It's like Fnatic, the reason I put them above RNG is because of that element where they can bring something to the table in best of ones. And RNG internationally have been very one-dimensional. So we'll have to pay attention to that. Something that we have to keep in mind, though, is that the key pieces of Flash Wolves, the team that consistently beat SKT in the past, is in RNG, meaning they have Stake as a coach and they have Karsa in the jungle. And even though Karsa was a part of the team last year, I believe he was a part of the team last year. He was, yeah. We played against him. Stake is now part of it, and he has a great win rate against SK Telecom. You know, he was in Flash Wolves, he joined Rogue Warriors. Nevertheless, he might do something, you know? It's interesting. Group C, yeah, we can move on. Group D. Honestly, I think, people are putting Damwon first, but I want to put IG first. The reason I want to put IG first is, it's such a conflict with IG, because it's like, it's so easy to imagine them destroying everyone. It's very easy to imagine that. Unbelievably easy. I can just close my eyes, boom, they destroy everyone, Very easy. Damwon, honestly, their bot lane looks rough, Their bot lane looks rough, and all I know is IG versus Damwon, there's going to be fucking fireworks. And I think it comes down to if Canyon can heavily outperform Lian, or if Ning's gonna play. I doubt it. I think IG and Damwon are lined up for a tournament where the top lane meta is going to be fucking great for them. And you know, there's this weird trend where the best top lanes in the world are always the ones that occasionally run it down. Nuguri and Deshai, they occasionally run it down. Usually, I've tried to pay attention to the trend where Deshai runs it down. It's in many cases where where he feels he needs to carry the team. There's been games where he's like 0-3 and everyone is doing well on his team, sure. I'm not going to say he doesn't run it down. But Deshai and Nuguri, in terms of what they can potentially bring to the table as top laners, I think the top laners, Ziv is okay. I think Impact, people like to talk about him like he's some rock, but honestly, I rewatched the Team Liquid and IG series, and it was really undeserved for him to win. You know, he did this cool route, you know, at the end of the game, but I couldn't care 10 shits about it because I watched the early game and I saw him getting 1v1 killed many times by the Shy. Many times. You know, he found this route 50 minutes into the game where IG, honestly, they should have closed and should have won that first game based off of the leads they gained through beating Impact. And I am much more impressed by someone solo killing someone in a semifinals than someone finding a route because the enemy team oinks around, you know? Way more impressed. So, Impact, I'm not so hyped on Impact. I'm not so sold on Impact. Every time I've went to the World Championship and my top laners have scrimmed against Impact, it's always been like, what the fuck? I expected more, you know? I remember 2016, Wunder was solo killing him. Cabo was solo killing him. Like, he's not that great. And people like to reference this one play and then paint this incredible picture about how great he is. But I think it's done. Impact X Smithy 2v2 top lane is non-existent. Team Liquid is in the boat where Double Lift Code JJ, you need to carry those games. Maybe you can take a game against a down one. I think IG, you know, depends on their performance. I think Jakilov has been amazing. And because of Jakilov being amazing, I think IG is not... I think IG matches up against Team Liquid better than Damwon does. Because I think Invictus, their solo laners on a bad day are better than Team Liquid's mid laners and so like solo laners. That's why. And I think IG's bot lane is better than Damwon's bot lane. And speaking of IG versus Damwon, it's tricky. I think Canyon is going to be the difference maker. If Team Liquid are going to get through, it's because they beat Damwon. That's my prediction, pretty much. Because Nuclear and Beryl die to ganks and they run it down, and Impact finds a pick where he doesn't run down enough, you know, for the enemy to beat the enemy. IG Damwon matchup, I think it comes down to Canyon as a difference maker. You have to put Rookie and Deshai in high regard. If you don't, honestly, it's a big meme. This is when I look at my list, my top 20 list, where I put Deshai and Rookie is so freaking hard. So freaking hard. Because honestly, scrimming against them and seeing them play is something that I've never ever experienced in my life. And I've watched this game for 10 years. For 10 years I've watched this game. And I've had this feeling of what the fuck, you know? Very rarely. I think it happened with Faker, season 3. I was like, what the hell? I remember Huni back in season 5 gave me this feeling. I was like, what the hell? Huni, what are you doing to us, man? Stop TPing on us and killing us. Stop. You know? I remember having this feeling with Caps at one point. But with the Shy and Rookie screaming against them was like, what the hell, man? They were just better and better and better. Oh, it's hard to describe. Hard to describe. Very hard to describe. You know, I watched the league for so long, and seeing it firsthand, it was like, wow, it was really something else. So, IG, I'm gonna make the bold prediction they get first in this group, and Damwon gets second. If Damwon beat IG, is because IG just completely fall flat. They look terrible. That can happen for sure. IG can fall flat and look terrible. IG in this group, though, even though they can fall flat and completely look like a disaster, I think they probably in this group have the highest chance of winning Worlds, which is hilarious. Because I think IG on a great day can still, you know, contest SK Telecom, can contest G2. I think IG on a great day can be the nemesis that G2 has been looking for, you know. But that great day, you know, you never know if it's coming. You never know, you know. I might be talking here about what they could potentially do and look like a fool, but I am hyped on what IG is going to bring to the table. So I'm going to do the bold prediction. I'm going to put them first, Damwon second. I think Jackie Love has been amazing. He's been great. Rookie and the Shy, I think they're going to pick it up. I believe they're going to pick it up. And Team Liquid third, HQ can just chill in fourth. Enjoy. Who's on HQ? Ziv. Apex, that's a different game. Honestly, I'm disrespecting LMS so hard, but they're not going to watch these videos anyway, so God bless them. Anyway, that summarizes it. I went on a bit of a rant of IG and how much the Shy and Rookie impressed me, you know. I'm sure there's other players that impressed me to that point, but the Shy and Rookie, wow. And I am well aware of the fact that this year they've played worse. Spring, they dominated. They crushed Spring. I don't want anyone to forget that. They destroyed Spring. They destroyed Spring all the way. They destroyed MSI group stage. They destroyed the quarters. They went into semis, and all of a sudden, everything just kind of fell apart. IG fell apart. They started to run it down. Ning ran it down. IG bot lane choked really fucking hard. They were getting 2v2 killed over and over by Team Liquid. It was just a complete disaster. After they threw the game 1, they just looked like shit. You know, it was, you know, people like to credit Team Liquid, but look how Team Liquid looked like against G2. And look how they got dissected like a little worm on an operating table. You know, they got destroyed so freaking hard. So don't speak to me about Team Liquid's level and their greatness because they beat IG at their lowest. It's, you know, Team Liquid played good. They played good. They had a fantastic tournament. They went to the finals. Great. Core JJ and Doublelift play really, really fucking well. Xmithy on his scanner was grabbing people. Fantastic. Impact found a way to be useful 50 minutes into the game. Okay, fantastic. But IG was disastrous. They were a complete fucking disaster. The only one playing that series I felt like was fucking the Shy, and it was a joke of a series from IG, you know. So there's a world where IG stomped this group. I see it happening. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I see it happening too. Anyway, I've been talking about these groups way too long. Peace out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow maybe. Yeah, maybe tomorrow. Bye bye.